G'day guys, Leigh Diprose here from F-Stop Lounge. This is a very exciting time for Fujifilm fans because we've got the Fujifilm X-E2 which has just been released, and we're here today on this Google Plus Hangout with a lot of fantastic photographers who know their stuff to discuss this new camera. But first of all, I thought we might just introduce everyone. So we might start with, we'll start in the middle. We'll start with Eric. If you would just want to say where you are and where you're from and what you shoot with.
All right, sure. I am Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye, from the United States, from South Jersey, and I shoot weddings, portraits, anything that pays the bills, really.
Cool, cool. And we'll jump over to Andy.
Yeah, Andy Gray, from the northeast of England. Shoot landscapes mainly. That's pretty much it.
Cool. And
what is it? AndrewSQ.com.
Nice. Okay. And what do you shoot with?
Nikon.
Nikon. Okay. Cool. And we'll jump over to Andrew.
Andrew Newland, Newtography.com. I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee, USA. I get sent all over the country to do sports mainly. My passions are landscapes and nightscapes. Shooting with Nikon, and yeah, love photography.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for being here. And we'll jump to my co-founder, Andre.
Hi there, Andre Appel. I'm from Central Germany, where I run a photo studio. I mainly shoot portraits. I mainly use the Canon gear, but I just laid my hands on a Fuji camera that arrived today.
Yay!
Yeah.
Cool. And we'll just jump over to Hugo.
Hey, I'm Ugo here, Ugo from Italy, amateur photographer. I do a bit of travel, landscape, a bit of everything. I shoot with all-time Nikon or Nikon, depending on which side of the pond you are. DSLR, but recently got myself a Fuji X100S that I absolutely love.
Cool. Cool. And Paul.
I'm Paul Pachugan. I'm a landscape, travel and commercial photographer based in the southwest of Western Australia. I travel all over the place, mostly capturing landscapes with a bit of commercial work to keep the bills paid.
Okay, cool. And before we jump to Josh, anyone that's on the Hangout, just grab the link and post it onto your Facebook or whatever, and we'll get some people watching as well. But Josh, did you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Josh Fisher. I live in northern Illinois in the States. I would say primarily shoot automotive and landscape photography. I did shoot Canon and just sold all my gear and switching to Sony. So I just ordered one of the new Sonys that came out.
Cool. Cool.
And we will have
you did order it?
Yes, I did order it. It has been pre-ordered, so we will have an unboxing party when that happens. I hear it'll be here sometime around or before Christmas.
Yeah. For those that didn't see it, we did a hangout a couple of days ago about the new Sony A7 and the A7R, and Josh was ecstatic. He just really wanted to get that camera. And
well, I woke up going, well, I'm gonna buy a Sony NEX7, and then I woke up that morning and went, oh, I can go full frame now. Sweet.
Score. Perfect.
Score. So.
Well, Sony aside, we're here to talk about Fujifilm. I should probably introduce myself. I'm based in Melbourne. I used to be based in Perth, where Paul Pachugan is, but I love Melbourne. And you're not there anymore. No, that's right.
I'm 2.5 hours south of Perth.
Yeah, where the landscapes are more beautiful. Yeah. So yeah, I moved to Melbourne and I'm loving it here. It's fantastic, and I just shoot anything and everything I can get my hands on. I do work for Fujifilm, so I suppose I'm a little bit biased towards that camera, but they're a great camera range. But let's move on. So, who saw the X-E2 launch? Where did you guys see it first? Online, or did you see it on your social streams or anything like that?
I saw it first on F-Stop Lounge. Seriously.
The first video I watched of it, Leigh, was you and Warwick Williams. Williams.
Williams.
Yeah.
And did you find that helpful?
I did until the battery ran out.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, yes. It was a bit of a shame. That was actually filmed at 2 a.m.
What were you using to film it? Because I don't want to buy a camera that cuts out.
It was actually the Nikon D800.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have asked.
So there you go. Courtesy of Jack Wasowski from Faded Focus Studios, he happily let us join, and we stayed at his place till 2 a.m. and yeah, filmed it. That's where we actually shot the XA1 video. But putting it aside, let's talk about the specs on the X-E2. 16 megapixels, X-Trans CMOS sensor. Let's just flip it over to Ugo. Mate, you shoot the X100S. What's the image quality like on that? Because ideally this is the same sensor in the X-E2. What's your thoughts on the X100S?
Mine, absolutely love it. The two things: the sharpness, and that's that's probably a combination of the sensor and the lens. That 23 millimeter f2 lens is probably very sharp.
Yep.
And the sensor, the fact that it lacks AA anti-alias filter is probably contributing to the sharpness. And I like the dynamic range. That's great. I can really shoot scenes with a lot of dynamic range, from highlights to shadows. And I love shooting against the sun, the way you can control the flare and still get usable images even shooting directly into the sun. That's amazing.
That just almost sounds like you're like walking along the beach, you know, romantic walks along the beach with your camera into the sunset, and it sounds quite bliss.
It is.
Good, cool. And any sort of standout features that anyone sort of thinks on this camera, or any improvements that they could have made to the X-E2?
Well, one thing I guess I saw that I don't like about it is you have to press and hold the Wi-Fi button to use the Wi-Fi. I think that's kind of silly. At least that's what I read in some of the descriptions, is that you actually have to press and hold it. It's not just press and the Wi-Fi is turned on and press and it's turned off. You got to sit there and hold it to use it.
Right. Okay, I didn't know that. I'd have to check up on that as well.
Yeah,
I know.
I read that.
Yeah. That does sound a little bit laggy.
Yeah, it says to transfer your information to tablets or phones that you must press and hold the Wi-Fi button on top of the camera, which that's nice that they made the button easy to access, but if you actually do have to press and hold it, that would get quite annoying.
Yeah. I imagine I've used it on the X-A1 and X-M1, the Wi-Fi button. Basically it was a button press and a hold to get into the Wi-Fi menu. So maybe that's what they're referring to.
Just having a look at the XM.
Yeah, right here it says once paired users can press and hold the Wi-Fi button to begin sharing images and movies immediately to their smartphone or tablet.
Yep.
Is it a press and hold to keep you from bumping the Wi-Fi button and X in the menu? You know, you'd have to consciously hold it.
I don't know.
Possibly.
But surely you don't have to hold it the entire time, do you? Like.
No.
Yeah, I would hope not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I'm guessing it operates the same way as the XM might that I'm playing with at the moment. Thank you, Fuji. In that you press and hold it and it goes into the Wi-Fi menu, and then you let go and it's still in the Wi-Fi menu. So, see, I'll give you.
Yeah, give us a demo.
If you go into you got to go into your play mode. That's photographing my work anyway. Beer and food. You press and hold the Wi-Fi button, and it goes into the Wi-Fi menu, and then you can from there.
Just hold it back a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So then you're in the Wi-Fi menu, so you can do your transfer. So I'm not holding the button anymore.
Okay.
Right.
You do actually have to press and hold. You don't just touch it to go into that menu. So I think it's just there so you don't bump it, because it's it's right next to your trigger button and everything else. So
Okay.
Okay. And
Well, that's okay, man.
so that's that bit sorted. Now,
I guess I like our price point definitely better than Australia's price point.
Yeah.
When I saw that price point,
we've got the mining boom here.
when the $18.99, I was like, that's not a very good camera for that kind of money. Like, but for $13.99, I would say that's right where it needs to be. $1,200-1,300.
you can blame a combination of the mining boom here, high wages, and the Australian government's lax attitude towards Australians getting ripped off from overseas companies.
All right.
Well, they recently brought in Adobe to have a chat about when they had the Creative Suite. It was cheaper to get on a flight in Sydney, fly to LA, walk into a store, buy a boxed copy of the full CS Suite, and then fly home than it was to buy a digital download.
Yeah, but you still add in the 2 weeks holiday in there, Paul, in LA as well.
Yeah.
Isn't there a way to change your IP or something like that? When my wife was in Europe, we booked our honeymoon through her computer while she was over there because the price was $1,000 cheaper in US dollars just because she was booking from Europe.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
A lot of Australians have found creative ways around this restrictions.
Now, getting onto the look of the camera, coming from a digital SLR myself, I've shot a 1D Mark IV and a couple of prime lenses and whatever, but I quite like the look of the retro look of the camera.
Yes.
Can I ask what you guys think of the camera? And
I like it better with the silver accents than all black, but yes, I love the look of the Fuji cameras just for the retro look, that's for sure.
Okay. And what were you holding up there before, Andrew?
Pentax KC, what is this, the KM? It's just one of my little collections here, but I love the retro look of that. That would be the selling point for me. Go good with my high dollar apparel that I shoot in. I don't know, but
it's called film, right?
With my shoes.
Yeah.
Film's expensive these days, man.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
Here's a question for you. These old style retro looking cameras, are they as easy to hold as like a DSLR that's basically formed around your hand? I've never shot with one of these smaller things. I've only shot with DSLRs.
I might throw that question over to Andre, who's actually just got himself the XA1, which is similar size to Paul's XM1 that he's got there. So, Andre, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was normally shooting Canon with battery grip or, the big ones. This one fits well into my hand. I thought it would be worse, much worse. It got this little bulb. It looks smaller than it is, but it got a bulb to get a good grip on it. And they really fixed the material. It got little bumps. It's all very, very handy. You can't let it slip. It's not slippery or something. And it's really small. I thought it would be bigger, but having used it, like only in gear because the weather's bad, I'd say it works perfectly. It doesn't wrap around my hand, but it fits well into my hand. And I've got big hands. I'm happy so far, and I would definitely write something for the f-stop about this camera when I get the time to go outside and shoot. But so far, I'm very, very happy.
Cool. And before you're actually showing me the Panasonic that you've got, do you have a side-by-side comparison? Like, I know this isn't the X-E2, but it's good to see the sort of size. Because the X-E2 sort of sits a little bit higher than the XA1 in size.
I removed the lenses, and this is a micro four thirds camera, which are really, really small. This is the GX1, and this is the Fuji. And they are almost the same size, but the Fuji has a kick-ass APS-C size sensor inside, and much better performance, I'd say. And it's just so small. It's incredible. I really love it. I'm already in love with this camera.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is, it's actually the X-E2's got the same APS-C size sensor, although it's got the new X-Trans CMOS sensor that I was talking about before. A couple of other standout features for me personally would be the 7 frames per second. And I know, Andrew, you're probably one for the sports photographer. That's a huge thing, you know.
Yeah, I've never even thought about the fact that mirrorless would one day be able to be used for professional sports photography, but if they start bumping up the frames per second and adding this new autofocus that's supposed to be really fast, that would be awesome to not have to lug around a 15-pound like DSLR and lens combo.
Yeah. Well, I must say on that note, with the how there was all the press releases with Fujifilm saying that it was the fastest focus. I just got an email from Japan. Where is it?
The whole country like emailed you?
That's going to match the whole country is like bombarded. And it fit into this little X100S iPhone. No. They said it's a bit Jinglish, so you have to. It's been translated.
Jinglish.
They said
That's a
the
new word.
fastest autofocus needs to be changed because of the Panasonic or something that got. Well, yesterday the Panasonic GM1, which has a 4/3 inch sensor, has published in the worldwide. That's English for you. But so I think what the email is saying is we just need to change the text on the X-E2 to AF speed is not the fastest.
One of the fastest.
Yeah.
One of the fastest. Yeah. So just to rephrase, that's a worldwide first. You just heard it on F-Stop Lounge first, right?
It's not the fastest.
It's not the fastest. From what I've seen on that email, I have to confirm. But in the next 24 hours, you'll see some changes happening on websites and stuff. But moving on from that, so shooting at 7 frames per second is pretty fast, and I was told by Warwick Williams, who rang me today and said the continuous focusing on the camera has actually been improved. Something that you'll notice when you actually pick up this camera and shoot in continuous mode, it actually comes up with a green square and locks onto the subject. So whenever that subject's moving, that green square is maintained, and as soon as you move off that person or subject, it takes that autofocus off, and as soon as something else tracks, it follows that as well. So that's a new sort of autofocus system with the built-in phase detection pixels, which obviously help assist in the way it focuses. Now, did anyone else have any other features that they wanted to talk about?
I really like that they bumped up the megapixel on the screen, on the LCD screen. That was like 420K before on the EX1, and they made it top notch, 1 million, and that's nice. I like it, like a sharp, good viewable LCD screen on cameras.
Yeah, true.
This one.
And also the viewfinder as well. It's got a 2.36K dot. OLED color viewfinder, which is, from what I've heard, superb. And I've used the X-E2, obviously, in that video. And yeah, I was blown away by the actual image quality.
Is that the same viewfinder as on the X100S? Or is it the new one?
I couldn't confirm that. I'd have to double check. This is where we'd need Warwick to jump in on the conversation.
I have a question about the buffer.
That's good.
Yeah.
Is the 8, it said it buffers 8 RAWs. Is that standard on mirrorless? Because I haven't stepped into the world of mirrorless yet. And so if they're bumping the frames per second up, I didn't know if they were planning on adding a larger buffer because, 7 frames per second, but your 8 RAW buffer seems to be a little close there.
Yeah, I mean 28 frames on JPEG at 8 frames per second, and maximum approximately 8 frames, so it's not exactly 8.
Gotcha.
But it's interesting. I would have thought that's it's probably not as fast as what some other cameras are.
Like I said, I have no idea about the mirrorless. I was just wondering if that was good or bad or.
Yeah, so the Olympus OMD EM1, I think actually will have a faster frame rate and a faster buffer processor, but the reason why I sort of see the Fujifilm as a little bit slower is because it's got the X-Trans CMOS sensor. and there's no optical low-pass filter, which means that your quality is actually higher than what you're getting. Because as soon as you put an optical low-pass filter in front of a sensor, you're almost half the image quality.
And you remove more angle.
Yeah, true. Because you'll go to the standard sort of Bayer filter array pattern, similar to what the XA1 has, that Andre has. Whereas Paul's on the XM1 has the X-trans CMOS sensor with the optical low-pass filter, same as the XE2. So because of the higher image quality, you're eating up more buffer.
Yeah,
so that's
got
the
a
way
bigger file size.
Gotcha. But talking about buffers, don't forget that it can store in the buffer 8 images, but once you press the shutter, it starts taking the image, but it starts writing it to the card. So if you have a fast card, you will get more than those 8 shots, of course.
Okay.
Because it starts writing them away straight away. But sometimes the card can't keep up, or something else can't keep up. So that's the maximum buffer that it can store without being able to write to the card.
So if you've got a class 10 or faster card, you should be
exactly.
Okay.
You should be able to shoot several seconds.
Yeah.
Now, flash. That's a very important subject to talk about on this camera. Paul and Andre on both their cameras will have a super intelligent flash. Have you guys heard about that?
I first heard about it in the video.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so I'll give you a quick explanation of what it does. So basically, a normal built-in flash will blow out a subject depending on how close it is. It just basically gives full power. The only control you've got is your flash exposure compensation, or you put a diffuser on the front of it. But what the super intelligent flash does that Fujifilm sort of developed on the XM1, and it's sort of filtered through the range, is it actually fires the flash 3 times, and it happens so quickly you don't even notice it. The first time actually fires out the flash and reads the scene and grabs the light. The second flash actually discharges the capacitor to the right level for the third flash to give the correct exposure. So if you were to flash your cameras, Andre and Paul, with your hand close up, and then look at the image, you'll find it will be perfectly balanced with the foreground and the background, so you're not going to get any sort of issues with overexposure. Yeah. And the cool thing is, as well, with those little flash units, you can actually bounce them. So you can just hold it back a little bit, and you should be able to bounce it.
Is there any option to control manual flash with those in the settings or anything?
Yeah, you can control your exposure compensation, so they'll have a +2 and -2 variants.
Okay.
Yeah. I did a video on that, actually.
Pretty well balanced. Not blown out at all.
A couple of days ago. Not blown out?
Nice.
No. So, I mean, I'm not going to upload that to Google Plus, but
Yeah. And I mean, I've tried it myself in all situations. I've even tried it on reflective surfaces, and I can't fault it. So they've done really well to make that super intelligent flash. I like to think it's wearing some sort of little cape.
Is the flash sync speed still the same insanely fast that you get with the X100S? I mean,
no, they've actually added a new flash sync speed on the shutter speed dial, so it syncs at 180.
So if you want to sync at 1/2000th, you need the X100S.
Yeah, the X100S has a leaf shutter, so therefore you can actually sync that without having any issues. Wow. Whereas the XE1 obviously doesn't have that. So the prime syncing speed is 180, and on that sort of mode dial that they've added, they've also separated the automatic away from all the manual settings, just for the people that don't know what A stands for. What does A stand for?
I actually thought it stood for aperture when I looked at that, because it just looked like a manual dial, like all manual. So I was like, is that aperture mode? And I was like, of course it would be auto. Why am I thinking like a professional?
Yeah. And the cool thing, I suppose, with Fujifilm as well, with your aperture, a lot of your XF lenses will have the aperture ring, so you don't need to necessarily have that other spin dial.
Gotcha.
So that's really cool. I like that. And what you'll see coming in the future is just going to blow your guys' minds away. So Yeah.
But you can't tell us. You're just going to tease us like that. That's
I'll just tease the world. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. That's this is the 14mm, and that's got the aperture dial right there, so you can just or you can chuck it on automatic. But
now, when you throw it on automatic, you just have to put it in the highest f-stop, and then it does it auto like a normal aperture ring kind of thing on a DSLR.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, just doesn't make coffee. We're working on that though, right?
Hey, about that bounce flash that you were talking about.
Buy coffee.
Yeah, Andrew. Yeah.
You said you can pull that because I always bounce my flash. I hardly ever shoot it directly. Is that a thing where you have to keep your finger holding it back, or can it just set back and stay there?
No, you've got to hold it back because of the way it's spring-loaded. It's like a jack-in-the-box, really.
It's like a little transformer. I'll buy it just for that.
Just about to ask about that because it would be nice if you could just set, even if it had 2 modes, spring load ready to go and a manual mode.
So like a little catch
calm down and don't poke my eye out mode.
Yeah.
Calm down. I like it.
The hardest thing I've found about shooting with the Fuji, moving from my digital SLRs, you got your screen. I'll pick it up. And I still blind myself because I try to look through it. So,
you know what? I've done that. I've done that, and it's not cool. It's not a good look when you go and show a customer, this is how you use it, and wow.
They're like, what are you doing? Do you know what you're doing?
No, I clearly don't. Now, video. Let's get on to video. I've used this video on this camera, on the X-E2, and I've also used the video on the X-E1. And the X-E1, let's just say, it wasn't the best. I mean, I shoot all my YouTube videos on X-E1. It's decent, 24 frames a second or 30 frames, but now with 60 frames a second, you can really get a good quality. What's your sort of thoughts on a benchmark, and where do you think the best sort of video is happening in digital SLRs at the moment? Anyone?
You kind of lagged on my end.
Probably the 5D3 or no, probably still the 5D3. I mean, they didn't go for the stupidly high megapixels sensor, which would have been nice, but they didn't move away from their video functions of the 5D2. And so I would probably say that's probably the best sensor in terms of video and functionality. Especially if you add Magic Lantern to it, then it just becomes a video camera.
Is it the new 70D? Is that what it is with the touch autofocus for video?
It is, yeah, correct.
Yeah, that would be something I would love to get a hold of for video.
Even I think the 700D or the 650D had touch focus as well.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, and even the EOS M as well, I must say, which was a bit of a dog for Canon, but they've got the firmware update now on that. So if you're interested in getting a Canon, go and get it. But I'd recommend a Fujifilm.
No, I can't shoot Nikon and Canon. That's treasonous.
It is. It is. You just have to put yourself in a dark room and maybe try and develop something.
I was working for a wedding photographer in Brisbane when he was changing from Canon to Nikon and or Nikon, and so he was shooting both, and so I had a Canon on one shoulder and a Nikon on the other, and everything's mirror opposite. So it's just underexposed on this one and overexposed on that one. I'm just tearing my hair out. By the end of the day, you kind of got used to it. But
have you guys noticed that, on a Canon and Nikon? Yeah. Well, especially I think you've shot both as well. When you put a lens on, you have to go the opposite way.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
I would break all of my lenses if I switched to Canon, so it's
But saying that, actually, with the Fujifilm, I think it's the same way as the Canon. It is the same way as the Canon, I'm not doing it in my head. But you can also change your... so anyone that's coming from a Nikon or a Canon with the focus, I know that's different. You can actually change the way you focus. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
actually,
you can on the Nikon. You can't do it on the Canon.
Yeah,
The
right.
Nikon, you can change it so that it's set up, even your exposure compensation and everything is the same as the Canon. The Canon just decided, no, our way's the right way. So.
And talking about customization, there's 4 customizable buttons on the Fujifilm X-E2. So now they've added the second function button, which I applaud them. Good job. I know when I'm shooting, and you may find this, Andre, when you start using the XA1, that function button at the top, when you hold it down, you actually can change all your modes on that button. Have you guys seen that before?
Nope.
I
Paul,
found,
do you want to just hold up your camera and just hold the function button down?
Awesome. It's set to changing my ISO, because I was already wondering whether I have to go into the menu.
Yeah, I've set mine to change ISO, but if you hold it, you can...
So there's about 19 or 18 different settings you can actually assign to that function button. But the cool thing is now there's 2. You can obviously have one as a self-timer if you want, or one as an ISO, which is really cool.
Wait. This camera comes with a self-timer too?
It does, yes. Yeah, so you know exactly when your eggs are going right.
All right.
Yeah, it's like the kitchen timer.
Well, that makes that price point all the better.
Yeah, that's right.
Especially in Australia.
That's just the entree, mate. Don't you see the veins? The other thing I wanted to sort of bring up as well was, obviously there's the 2 other function buttons that we just talked about, but there's the autofocus button, auto exposure lock button, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm going from my memory. You can change those buttons as well. I don't know what you can change them to, but you can change them. So that's kind of cool.
Is there a auto bracketing? Is that one you can change the function button to? Is there a dedicated one? Or is this a non-HDR friendly camera?
There should be bracketing in the menu.
I don't know if it's the same. Give a second, I'm just having a look
If
at
it's
that.
the same as mine, you can just click it. There should be a drive button.
This one, has a drive mode where you can do your...
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you click on that and it'll change your bracketing.
Gotcha. Nice.
You'll find you guys, though, will actually have more bracketing modes, similar to the XE2. So there'll be film simulation bracketing modes. So anyone that shot Velvia, Astia, Provia, you've got all those film bracketing modes, which is kind of cool. And then there's the exposure bracketing, and I think there's one other bracketing mode as well, white balance bracketing maybe, which is kind of cool.
So on the exposure bracketing, what's the range on that? Coming from a D700, like on the exposure bracketing, where like something like the D700 does 9 brackets. How far does this go? Do you know, Leigh?
Well, when you multiply all the 3s, it does get high, but no, it's only 3
you have to do it
aside.
the manual way.
Yeah, 3 aside of 0. So if you go -3 and +3. That's something they've added on the new exposure compensation dial. You can actually, it's got more torque on it, so you don't accidentally knock it. A lot of photographers gave feedback on that and wanted that changed, so we listened and we changed it, which is really cool.
What do I need to do to be one of those photographers that gives feedback? That means I get something free, right?
You just need to tell me stuff, man. You just send me an email, send me a message. Say I want to see this out.
Leigh, to get feedback to you, you need to send us the camera first.
Yes, exactly.
I've been badgering you since you got that job.
Well, I've got no cameras with me today because I've got them out on loan everywhere. It's crazy.
There's one just here.
Yeah. And the other ones are all over the place. But yeah, I'll definitely think about that. There was one other thing that I wanted to talk about, and I've forgotten what it was. Don't you hate that?
Did you not write them down for your show notes?
Yeah, I have one question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
More of a request than a question. I want a way to connect remote control to one of those cameras. I've got remote control with intervalometer and everything, and I I use that when I do long exposures, time lapses, and so on. And
They have that on the new one, don't they?
Do they?
Yeah, right. Okay.
The mic
That's
input.
a really... Sorry, go on.
Oh, is it the mic input? Is what I was asking.
Yeah. So the intervalometer, I know we've got a remote control that actually works with ours. I think from the top of my head, it's the RR80 or 90. You're gonna have to do some research there, but I know some on the XE one. You could use Harnell did a remote control which you could use, but I don't think it was an intervalometer. But all I can say about that.
Usually intervalometer as well. Most of them are anyway.
All I can say about that is it would be nice to have it.
Well, I read something on that post that said the mic input doubled as a remote input.
Exactly. It's a 2.5 millimeter stereo microphone socket, and you can use any remote release or programmable shutter release that fits in there. Yeah.
So there's really no intervalometer that fits for that.
Not that I know of, but the Harnell Canon version, the I think the Canon equivalent of the RS80.
The Canon Harnell comes with this cable, so you'd be able to use that. One end in your Fuji, and this one would go into your piece that sits in your hot shoe, and then you can use that as an intervalometer. But I was just looking at the XM1. There's not even a mic input on this, so there's no way to connect a remote to this that I can see.
Mic input is crucial nowadays when you want to make high-quality YouTube videos.
Yep.
Well, depends. I use an external recording device.
Okay, and then sync it up.
And then sync it later.
Okay.
Because then the audio is with me. And,
Yeah. Well, guys, on that note, we might just sum up very, very quickly. We'll do a final thought. Well, the best feature that you sort of liked about it that we talked about today, and we'll give it a rating out of 10 based on the specifications that we've got. So we'll start with Hugo.
Looks an interesting camera to me, and I'm actually in the process. I'll probably in a few months I will think of either upgrading my DSLR or switching completely to a different system. And having used the X100S, I really like what I'm using. So keeping an eye on the X series, and probably will be waiting for an X Pro 2 announcement or whatever comes out from
right.
Yeah, from the X-E2, I think it's especially the price compared to the X100S is very interesting. So I'll give it an 8.
An 8, okay. And Paul?
Yeah, I'm going with the 8 to 9 on this one. For me, obviously I'm primarily shooting landscapes and commercial sort of work. I think this would be brilliant for your more travel and street photography. Not sure how it would really stack up against an SLR in terms of landscapes. I just don't think, if you're printing, I don't think the resolution's there. Not for the type of stuff I shoot anyway. So I've got 2 meter wide prints. So, but definitely an 8 or a 9. I'd love to get my hands on one and have a play. Hint, hint, hint. But for me to add anything to my kit, I'd probably be looking at the X Pro 2 when they announce that eventually. I played with the X Pro 1 and fell in love with it, so it was an incredible camera. But I'll wait until that one.
Okay, I'm going to jump straight over to Andy.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking interesting, and if I was to go down the mirrorless route, I think Fuji would be my first port of call. It's not a full frame camera yet, but supposedly the rumored next X Pro 1, like the X Pro 2 or whatever, is going to be. So that might be a point of when to jump in. I'm just not quite sure. It rates with a DSLR at the moment. So I would hang fire if it was me, if I had any money. But I'm quite willing to play with one if somebody wants to send me one to play with.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, you might be waiting a long time for that X Pro 2.
Yeah, it was only on the Fuji rumours yesterday, so.
Yeah, right. Okay.
It's probably still 2 years away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I better get a hurry up because Sony's went and jumped in with a full frame. So.
Yeah. Is
Sorry,
it my
Andrew.
turn? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I haven't jumped into the mirrorless yet. I'm waiting for the perfect camera. But compared to the other ones I've seen, I was going to give this a 2, but now that I know it has a self-timer, I think it's right around an 8. No, but...
Boom. Okay.
No, but I'm the same way with full frame. I love shooting full frame, and the new Sony really caught my eye. But I don't think I'm ready to jump in just yet. Lenses are a big deal to me, so if I'm going to do a new system, I want to see what kind of lenses everyone offers, and I just haven't done all that much research. But yeah, I'd say an 8. I really do like the retro look of them. That honestly is a selling point for me. So.
Okay. Cool. Thanks for
Don't
that.
forget the adjustable flash.
Oh yeah, and the Transformer Optimus Flash. Yeah.
Yes.
They should have called it Optimus Flash, but I really like that. I really want to have a cape on it, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
A little James Bond, yeah, cape and James Bond. Is that intelligent? There you go. Maybe I'll do a video on that. Andre.
Yeah, I will also go with an 8 out of 10. It's a great package and a great design. I really like that X-Trans CMOS 2 sensor, and I'm really looking forward to that OLED viewfinder. I'd like to find out how good that is. Yeah, 8 out of 10.
Cool. Well, having played with one and used it myself, I would have to definitely put it as a 1. And being biased as well. You know. Where it loses marks, I can't really think of many except that it's not full frame. But because of the X-Trans CMOS sensor and no optical low pass filter, it should get quite a high resolution compared with a full frame. But that's another story. Well, on that note, guys, I just wanted to thank you all again for joining and sharing your thoughts on what this camera is about. So thank you very much. And make sure everyone tuning in and watching this video later on, you connect with these guys on social media. They're mainly on Google Plus or through their Facebook page because they're very, very talented people, and they're you should follow them because they do a great job. So on that note, guys, we'll catch you later and we'll see you on the next Hangout. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.